Hello, guys. Welcome to Fire Them Cannons. We are about to start a brand new initiative here on this channel. We've actually done this before, but it was a different sort of, it was kind of part of our podcast. But now this is going to become a full-time show now. Welcome to the Arsenal Alliance. This is going to be our main Arsenal panel show that we are going to be doing once, maybe even twice a week, depending on it. It can be Seb and Jake for the most part, but there will also be other times we will invite other Gooners, notable Gooners on YouTube across the sphere to come join us. So it's going to be really, really fun. One of our new projects as we try to expand the channel. I actually want to have Cal kind of like run you across a little bit of, the inspiration and the idea behind what we're trying to do here before we start the show, obviously.
Yep. Big ups to everyone. Before we get into it, let's introduce our guests. Big up to Seb. Thank you for being here. I think it's like around 8 o'clock in the morning for you.
Yeah. I've literally just woken up, so
yeah, that's good. And big up to Jake as well. I think it's very like 3 a.m. for you.
It is.
Oh man, thank you for making the time. I'm being up super late, but for some reason you look the freshest out of all of us.
I went to bed. I went to bed like almost directly after all the games, so I could get all the Champions League stuff, so I could get a good night's sleep before coming on.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. And this is one of the shows that we want to have weekly in alongside our usual show, which we're kind of rebranding from just the Arsenal from the Fire Them Cannons as a show to the Anton and Cal show, which is just gonna be me and Anton, just chopping it up and talking. And this one's going to be our Arsenal panel show, which is mainly just Arsenal fans talking Arsenal stuff, because things can get lost when you bring in rivals, but we just wanted to be by Arsenal for Arsenal. And and we would try to get level-headed Gooners on here, and also difference of opinions. I invited Seb mainly because he is one of the most level-headed, calming Gunners that we know. And after that loss to Manchester United, I said immediately, messaged Seb and I was like, "Hey, we need you on the show because we need calm, we need reason, because me and Anton, our heads are gone."
I think my head's come back.
I had to delete my watch along. It was so bad. Yeah.
What, the Man United one?
The Man United one. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. Get demonetized or whatever. Gets the strikes.
Yeah. So big ups to these guys for being on here. So that's one. This is going to be one of a lot of things that we're working on in the pipeline, but that's a surprise. We will let you know at a later date for some of the other stuff once they're confirmed.
Yeah, and by the way, we've had Phantom, who was in here. He sent me this message on the live chat about half an hour before we started, going, "Big up the Alliance. The Man U show us the way. Lose the coward manager, and the sky is all right."
So he's already off the jump. So which was pretty much the mood.
He's telling you
right
how
after
he feels about Arteta.
Right after that United game, that was pretty much the mood for a lot of the fan base in terms of just losing our heads, which is kind of a little bit understandable.
Yeah, luckily enough for us though, between that game and this game, we actually played and won. So maybe that calms the waters a little bit for most, and for some. By the way, make sure you're hitting the like button and you're subscribing. Big ups as well to more Arsenal. I think this is the first time I've seen you in here, if am I not correct. But saying smash the likes, thank you for the love. Again, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We're going to have so many awesome people up here now, more than ever before. So make sure you're missing it. You saw last night we had David on here to gloat about Manchester United, but today we've got more of our humble regulars, Arsenal fans, Gooners in the building. So let's talk about the game. I'm gonna say last night, just not to confuse my audience. Where we played Kairat. Obviously, it was a game where Arsenal didn't have anything to win nor lose. It was a bit of a dead rubber. We went with, I believe, Seb, am I correct? 11 changes?
Yeah, it was a full.
Yeah, we changed.
Yeah, we made 11 changes to the game last night. Cal, let's start with you. Run me through, how do you feel about last night's game, the performances? I kind of want to go through maybe a few of the moments in and out. Let's start with the first opening 2 minutes. where you said my camera's kind of crooked.
Yeah.
The opening 2 minutes where Victor Gyökeres scores and Kai Havertz makes an instant impact. How run me through that, my friend.
Well, to be honest with you, what was really surprising is that I didn't even kind of realized that we did a full switch. Kind of because we have so many good players in our team, it didn't really dawn me that wait, this is a full second string because it doesn't feel like a full second string. When I'm looking at the guys on the pitch, and when I'm looking at Gyökeres, Madueke, Eze, when they're starting the game, it feels like so I was thinking also so we actually went with a pretty stronger squad. But then I realized, wait, no, none of these guys started against Manchester United. So this is why when we say we have like insane squad depth, when you look at what the team that we started, which is our second string, it's absolutely bonkers. Even if you want to say maybe Gyökeres is more first string and Jesus is more second string, it's still like that's such an insane starting lineup for us. And yeah, as soon as we scored, I put in the chat, like surprise when we play the ball to Gyökeres, he scores goals, and that's what happened. Like we finally kind of found him when he's making one of these runs, and he's clinical when we do. And to be honest with you, I think the biggest surprise of the game was Kai Havertz as a 10, because that's not something I wanted to see. To be honest with you, I was kind of adamant about, yes, I want Kai Havertz back, but I prefer if he, would just come on for Gyökeres at times. But Kai Havertz in that 10 was some of the best looking 10 play that we've seen this entire season. Like in terms of his link up play was elite. His attacking intent, is like he wants to go forward, and it was like having like it was like my mind was completely blown in terms of what we're capable of when we actually press on the front foot. So yeah, that first half was absolutely amazing, and I think Kai Havertz was the engine of that, to be honest with you. I think he was the MVP for me. I'm not sure if he got the man of the match at the end of the game, but if he didn't, he definitely should. So yeah, it was a much better performance. Second half, much to be left to be desired for me personally. I think once he came off, it was kind of like more of the same of what we're used to seeing, which is pass back, slow, the attacking intent gone. I was pretty angry at the time because watching us play insanely good football, and then in the second half, we're playing the slow, lethargic football when Odegaard comes on. I'm not sure, now that I'm a bit more kind of like level-headed, I'm thinking, was that instruction from the manager, or was that just Odegaard purposely slowing down the play? I don't know yet. And I honestly, especially because we conceded in that second half the way we conceded last kick of the game, I think we're not a team, we're not built to kind of sit back. We're not built to slow things down. I think we're built for forward thinking football. Like that's how we perform best. They can't score if we have the ball and we're in their half,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thoughts of the game.
Yeah. I want to go to Seb on this next point, because Seb, we actually, Terry gave him the floor this morning to talk about this topic, because he had the foresight to tell the world that when you put Kai Havertz together with Victor Gyökeres, that it's going to work. What were your first impressions of that pairing? And by the way, Kai Havertz, you're your favorite player. I know that for a fact. You told me you get 29 on every single home kit every year. To see him back, by the way, like, how are you feeling about it all, man?
I'll take the little dub for now, but yeah, obviously it has to be caveated because it was Kairat. But I thought just the figures I'm going to take from that, even his touch, his movement, getting in the half spaces, is great regardless of what the team is. That's natural talent, natural ability that he wants to get into those spaces. You could clearly see straight away that because of where he's dropping in, it's pulling defenders out the way, it's creating space for Gyökeres, which is what we want, because obviously we need Gyökeres in more space, which is probably why he's doing better in the Champions League than he is in the league, purely on the basis of we get attacked more in the Champions League. But it's just the instinctiveness of they've literally just played together under 2 minutes. Gyökeres is making a run through and he plays it straight away. There's no thinking about it. There's no slowing the play. There's no playing out wide. It was, he's running through there. I'm playing it right now. I think Kai Havertz's skill set has always suited someone more of a 10 or a false 9. He's not been a true out and out attacker, because even when he was our main man at top, he would often drop deep and let the wingers do a lot of the play out wide. So I think he does caveat with Gyökeres really well. Obviously, I made that controversial statement. It wasn't even that controversial on the football terrace, where I said he's Dennis Bergkamp-esque in the way he can play off the striker. I wasn't comparing him ability wise, but I think just even that little snippet, and the fact it was immediately, it wasn't like they took time to warm up to do that. It was really impressive. It was just instinctive play. But we saw Kai Havertz doing what he does best here. So I can't wait for him to see him come back in. Obviously, he will play some minutes at striker. It will have to be in those games where we are ball dominant and against lower blocks. I think it will be really good for lower blocks. It won't be good for those games that are in transition, I'd say, against like the Bournemouth, for instance, who are actually going to attack us. But in those games where we're struggling to break down low blocks, having Kai Havertz on there, as well as Eze in there as well, was a very attacking
Yes.
lineup. Having them both in there, they can bring defenders out, create space for Gyökeres, because Gyökeres thrives in space. And you see when he does have an opportunity to finish, he's a really good finisher. So having him in there as another target, occupying other defenders, I think worked really well. Obviously, it's only one game. We'll have to see against better opposition, but I thought it was fantastic, and I was more than happy. Everything I said was going to happen. It kind of happened, so I was really happy with that.
Yeah, no. So, like, I want to throw this to you, Jake. What did you think today about I'll tell you, put it this way: the contrast of attack in, like I say, against Manchester United today in the first half and today in the second half. Is there anything that you can kind of like pinpoint and see that was just a bit different? Did you like? I mean, obviously, scoring 3 goals in one half is good, but like in general, the actual play of Arsenal offensively, did you notice a difference? Did you like it a little bit better? Like, kind of let me give you an idea of how you're feeling.
I think, yeah, there was a difference, especially in that first half. If you look at the goal itself, the first goal, it's Eze to Kai Havertz to Gyökeres, 2 passes right down the center of the pitch. It was very direct, and that is what we've been missing. Like Seb was saying, Kai was very direct. He'd get the ball and he'd go at them immediately, and I think that is something we've been missing. Cal, you mentioned it. Odegaard comes in the 46th minute, and we are no longer direct. It's side to side. It's kind of, and Anton, you also said it, when we're at our best, our flying fluid best, when we're pressing the hell out of teams and we're playing very, very quickly in transition. And when we don't play very, very quickly, like we did against Manchester United, we're less effective, far less effective. People talk about the side to side, questions come up about Odegaard, etc. But when we're at our flying fluid best, a la 22-23, we can blitz teams. And that's, I think, really what it was against Kairat, is the freedom that there was no pressure, and so we can go out there and kind of express ourselves. And I think they did that.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, to be honest with you, on the pressure comment, to be honest, in the second half, it's not like we were pressured, but we still slowed everything down, So
well, you said it. I think it was Mikel Arteta told Odegaard to do that. I think you said it. I think
there's a reason why. I've actually been thinking about this, reflecting on the game, and I kind of discussed it a little bit while listening to a few people talk on the terrace after me and Cal have been speaking in the chat. I think there are a lot of different things. I think Terry, when he said this, is right, which is you kind of, this is a game that Arsenal kind of didn't need to go out guns blazing and win and put in 1,000% effort, like just realizing the job is done and being like, okay, let's just get to the end of the game. Let's slow it down. Let's not get anybody injured. Let's not use too much energy. And I do think this is my own deduction from that, which is I think that's why he made the Odegaard sub at halftime. Of course, I think he wants to rest Havertz, and only bringing him in for a 45-minute period as well comes into it. But I think purposefully, I think it's Odegaard, because he knows that Odegaard can slow it down. He can keep it ticking along, kind of just, and as much as it annoys me, like, honestly, a conclusion I came to. I said it to Cal in our chat, which is like everyone's criticizing Arteta for, oh, he's the reason why we play things slowly or back and forth. Recycling was the term that David was using yesterday, and for me, I just feel like it's more the effective Odegaard in the Arsenal's team, because I'm even thinking about it again further when we had the run when he was out and Eze was basically there. He wasn't that slow. We were pretty direct. They weren't recycling the ball as much as we do. And then I'm like, you see the contrast even with a Havertz. They're not even talking about Eze. I'm talking about with Havertz and Eze as a pairing as well. Let's not forget that. Two, all of a sudden you have Odegaard in the Havertz position, and it's all of a sudden it's back and forth, recycling the ball. I'm not going to really take any risks. You know, like he made a few good runs. Like he got himself in good positions to get a few headers. But in terms of conducting the play, it was nowhere near the same as it was in the first half. Yeah, Noni did a few of his, like, you know, drop the shoulder and do his Noni things. It wasn't 100% like that, but it was a clear difference from that first half to the second half. And
yeah, because he's not playing like a 10. He's even in a game where we're 3-1 up and we have, you know, pretty much all the control, there's no pressure. I'm still seeing Odegaard drop deep. He's standing between you know, like Mosquera and who did we have on Ben White? Did we have on the right?
Ben White on the right.
He was just standing there and just holding the ball, and then, you know, he loves to run with the ball. He just loves to just taking the ball from the defenders and just running with it, and he doesn't really need to do that. When you look at the first half, Mosquera and Calafiori were actually distributing the ball quite well. So what was happening is that we were pushed up, and Mosquera and Calafiori was literally just, you know, pinging the ball to our was trying to find midfielders, and they would just go on a half turn and start a fast attack. So, like, Odegaard doesn't need to drop in deep and take the ball off of defenders like babies, because our defenders are actually really good on the ball. Like, Mosquera today really impressed me with how good he was on the ball, and obviously Calafiori is good on the ball. And, you know, we know Saliba's good on the ball. Gabriel a little on the ball, but he does good enough of a job. So I think if we just trust those guys to kind of, plus we have Raya, who's usually, you know, he's a ball playing goalkeeper. Like, we have enough to progress, so we don't need someone like Odegaard coming back in, because by the time he's running, but by the time he takes the ball and he runs, we literally were missing someone to link up the play and attack. And also, I think Havertz playing as at 10 is gonna score even more goals than he is at the striker if he, you know, stays fit, because I feel like without the pressure of being the main striker, I think he probably scores more goals, because he's going to naturally drop in a little bit deeper, do the link up play stuff as the 10. Because
you really think
he's
we'll
doing
see that
that
again?
Yeah. Because he always did that. He always dropped him deep. It's just the problem with him dropping him deep was because we didn't have a number 9 staying up front, and actually, so we had no one to finish the chances, right? So
I
now
meant
that
Kai in the
Havertz is,
10.
yeah. I think since he's come back, Arteta hasn't played him as striker. He's played him as 10 every time.
Yeah, but
And every time-
Arteta loves Odegaard. So, like, in a big game, in a game that matters, are we ever going to see that?
Oh, I think we will, because I think if Arteta has proven that he's, you know, he takes off Odegaard, you know, if you're taking off your captain at the 55 minute, like, and the 60th minute back to back,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear that.
It shows me, and then the very next game you start someone else. It shows me that he's willing to do what's best for the team at this point in time.
Yeah. Look, this whole Arteta loves Odegaard thing for me is just, it could be true, Jake. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely, and the proof could be in the pudding there. But if I'm Mikel Arteta, fuck that. I want to win the fucking
Agreed.
Premier League. If he's not in good form, and I got, honestly, Havertz showed me a lot. Havertz showed me a absolute lot in 45 minutes. Arsenal, we were struggling. We were talking about I was only hours before that, me and Cal are sitting here fucking trying to do a dissection on our attack, trying to figure out what's wrong and why we're
What
like
what
we
are the
run out of
solutions? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and all of a sudden one appears, and our attack looks better than it has for me. I mean,
And it's the
take
instant
Kairat, the fact that we're
impact.
playing with
Yeah,
we're literally
yeah,
playing a team from Kazakhstan.
yeah.
Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world. Um, very nice. The fact that we're playing like literally, I call them human traffic cones. That like we have to take that into account, right? But for me, forget about that for a second, because I think Seb's going to tell me about all the low blocks and all the teams that we play, which by the way I tell everybody about as well. But I think it's just more the ideas that the Arsenal's showing. The intent
Yeah, it's the
is a big
intent.
part of it, and the intent was there. I reckon if we're trying to be that direct against certain Premier League teams in certain moments, that we can have fruitfulness.
We could punch them in the mouth. I think teams aren't ready for that type of play. I think we could the thing about the low blocks. People think teams sit up against us in low blocks the entire game. No, we have a lot of counter-attacking opportunities when we play these teams. It's not like there's 11 men standing inside the box. A lot of the times, the reasons why we're not punishing teams is because our build-up is so slow. So if we can have the game like we had in the first half, where we're spraying that ball quickly, and we're able to get it, create the chances, we will punish teams. We will punish teams.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've spoken a little bit about this game. I want to start talking about some of the big talking points, and I want to use. We're going to do a word association game for that. Basically, that's going to be my thing, kind of like how Terry does, fact or fiction. I do word association here. And the first word I want to use today is Manchester United, because I do want to kind of go back to that game and talk about that game, because for me, I think we've talked about it ad nauseum, me and Cal, but I do want to hear Seb and Jake's thoughts on the performance. I'm going to start with Jake because I think he's going to give me a little bit of fire right now, and then I'm going to get calm it down with the man who I always lean on for for level-headedness. But Jake, how did you feel overall about the Man United game? Like, break it down for me. What I hate to play devil and angel a little bit here, but I'm going to do it. What annoyed you the most about that performance?
What annoys me the most about when we play Manchester United is the thing that has annoyed me for a long time about them and it was a clear contrast that the whole reason that they're playing well in these last two games is simple. It's freedom. He's just allowed Bruno he's set it up to where Bruno can do whatever he wants. And I'm just looking at that and I'm like, why are we not setting up to play with freedom? Why are we not in a mentality to play with freedom? Now, that was the first thing, because, and that can get into the whole Odegaard stuff and being stuck in back and forth in certain formations and patterns, etc. But in addition to that, I think the most annoying thing about that game is, once again, we've hit the panic button. And you don't see it very, very often. I think one of the big ones that comes to mind is in the game where we played Liverpool last season at home, when Gabriel went out injured and Jakub Kivior had to come in. We had the same kind of anxiety that we had after the Dorgu goal. So I thought in the first 5 minutes of the second half, I thought, all right, maybe we can come out, maybe we can kind of get back on top. But it was helter-skelter. There was no control. It was panicked clearances. There was so many times where I'm thinking, okay, ball's up. Let's just win this second ball, bring it down, calm it down. But instead, even like Gabriel, Saliba, they were just hoofing it. Timber, just hoofing it. Like, and I don't know if it was anxiety. I don't know if it was pressure. Maybe it's the fact that every time, and I'm very, very guilty of this, I'll tell you straight out the gate. Every single time any little thing goes wrong, we kind of freak out. So anytime there's a result that goes against us, we freak out, and it's the doomsday, it's the end of the world. And so Zubamendi making that mistake is kind of a microcosm of the fan base as a whole, he makes one mistake and we absolutely lose our heads. And we never got him back for the rest of that entire game. I think that was probably the most infuriating thing is we never calmed down after the Zubamendi mistake.
Yeah.
What
Seb,
about the
you-
one word association thing?
What do you
Pain.
mean?
Pain.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just the idea is to bring up the Man United's the one word association. We're gonna kind of discuss our feelings on Man United in terms of
Oh, okay.
our
So that's what
game,
it is.
right?
Hatred and pain are my feelings for Manchester United.
Yeah. Seb, I just wanted you to give me your analysis of that game. Like again, we were both together on the football terrace. You know how it goes sometimes with that. You're not able to fully kind of express how you feel. We've had now it's Thursday now, so we've had about 4 days since the game. Like how are you feeling about that game, thinking about it, and also the context of where we are moving forward? Because there are a lot of people right now who are doubting if we have what it takes to really kind of seal the deal right now, like mentally. Like, Seb, seriously, tell me how you're feeling.
I think obviously it was a disappointing performance. It was probably our worst performance of the year, but you do have to give credit to obviously Man United. They played extremely well. I'm not going to blow up as much as other people just purely because I think we're going to win the league anyway. So I'm not going to get frustrated over one result. It's our first loss at home all year, only our third loss in entirety. So you're going to lose games. You're going to have off games. We also on the back of four away games in a row. That is tiring for any team. So I think there was a little bit of fatigue in there. The players that we usually rely on making mistakes. So I think it was just a little bit of a blip. Even when you look at the underlying stats, it's a game that will rarely ever happen again. If you look at Manchester United's goals, they didn't even have an XG of 1. They're scoring screamers all over the place. The problem is mainly with that performance is we score and then it was just giving away chances immediately. But I don't see that happening in much other games because even when we played poorly in other games, we haven't really looked like we were going to concede anyway. So I think it is just an outlier of a result there. I think playing Jesus up top was a mistake. He couldn't hold the ball up whatsoever. He wasn't making runs in behind. Just really poor play overall. And we got lucky to go 1-0 up in the first place. Obviously, it came from our pressure, but it was no goal. So overall, the performance wasn't brilliant. You're going to lose games sometimes. The best Manchester United teams, even the 2008 Man United team, we beat. So you do lose these games sometimes, and let's be honest, the team that is chasing us right now, I'm not going to count Villa really. I don't see Villa going the distance, especially when Europa League gets into knockouts phases. It's not a good Manchester City side. I can't see them getting enough wins in a row. They just can't get any consistency in there. Pep Guardiola is so stubborn when it comes to his style of play. He just won't move on. So the fact that even when we do slip up, I just don't see. All we've got to do really is match what City does. That's all we got. We've already got 4 points clear. We can lose to City at the Etihad as long as we match them. It's fine. And I think this is we saw the bounce back in the Champions League, obviously against a smaller side, but it was a good bounce back. And I think just when we change up the lineup, I just think it was the wrong lineup. The subs looked very panicked because it was 3-4 of them at a time. So you could clearly see Arteta was panicking at that point. And I think that was probably wrong because when you're changing the team up that much in one go, I don't think it's wise. You should probably phase the players in a bit more. But yeah, Erdegaard's unlike it. It's so slowly. I think he might just need to be dropped for a little bit. Maybe he's tired. I'm not too sure. Bring in Eze because we were playing a lot more front-footed football when Eze was playing. Obviously, the famous game against Tottenham, he scored a hat-trick. So it's just, I don't know what it was with Erdegaard. Sometimes he just gets like this. So maybe he just needs a bit more rotation. We got the squad depth in there, but it just doesn't seem that he's happy to rotate him that much. Maybe drop him into an 8. Maybe because his skill set suits more of an 8 to me, but then obviously you're dropping Zubimendi or Rice.
I feel like him and Zubamendi are doing the same things now. He's not really.
Well, the thing is, Zubamendi's played like nearly every available minute when he has been fit. So I think he just needs some time on the bench as well, just because he's a human being. But I'm just not going to blow up over a game. Yes, it's frustrating, but I still think we're going to win the league. So for me, it's just a little bit of a bump in the road. It's part of the journey. So I can't get overly angry about it. But yeah, obviously it was a poor performance, but it's just one that we can go. This gives us a kick up the arse and go, we haven't won the league yet. We can't be too passive. and just keep going. So it's just a warning shot against us, because especially at home, we haven't lost a game at home yet. So it's just one of those where we're not won this yet. Take this as a warning and move on. I think Arteta, when this press conference before the game yesterday, was really promising, where he said, we've looked at it in training, we've assessed ourselves, and we're going to move forward. So I think it's just a little blip. I'm not going to take too much from the game. And yet, let's be honest, I just don't see City catching us up. Even with signing Gahey and Semenyo, I just don't see. Even against Wolves, they weren't brilliant. So, but yeah, I'm not too down on it. I'm a bit more positive than everyone else. But yeah, I think just surface level looking at it, it was a poor performance. Let's just leave it there and try and move on.
To be honest, I'm loving the answer from Seb. I'm looking at Cal's face, and I can tell there's a few things that you disagree with in there. Like,
I mean, I think Seb had a pretty logical response. I do think that we are going to win. But I don't think it's just a bump in the road. I think these past results have kind of backed us into a corner. I think, looking at the bigger picture, I don't think I've said this on stream yet, but this is a thought I've been having concerning.
Cal, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a safe space. It's Schooner zone.
Yeah,
safe space.
Yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about, and just in the background. I think these past results has the potential, like drawing these two games and losing against United, has the potential to really hurt us in the run-in. And the reason I say that is because, first of all, now we've gotten to the point where we're not really allowed to make that many mistakes at this point moving forward. I would have loved to build up a little bit of a buffer, so in the run-in, when we're in the knockout stages of the Champions League and we're going deep in the FA, we can actually afford to lose a couple games. Now we can't. Now we've kind of like spent our currency that we built up in the first half of the season. Our first half of the season was amazing. We built up that buffer, which we deserved. Anyone who walks in here and tells me that we don't deserve it, or it's a false position, that you're chatting shit. With all due respect, we deserved our position, but we spent too much of our currency, too much of our bandwidth. So now we're only 4 points ahead. In the run-in, it's going to be difficult because we are challenging on all four fronts. I don't think people really deeped like what that's actually going to entail, because we really need to remember that last year we pretty much gave up on the league. So we were able to we put all our eggs in the Champions League basket. So we weren't really fighting on all fronts in the run-in. We were really going super hard on the champs. The year before that, we tried to go super hard on all fronts, but we didn't make it very far in the Carabao Cup, and we didn't make it very far in the FA Cup either. And we only made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So our bandwidth wasn't, this forefront challenging thing that we're doing right now. Now we have the squad, and they're fit now. So I do think that we have the physical bandwidth to challenge on all fronts in the run-in, but there's also the mental fatigue, because it's going to be really, really hard going into the City at our heels, potentially playing that game, then playing knockout stages of the Champions League, and then we're playing knockout stages in the FA Cup, and playing knockout stages in the Carabao Cup, and it's bang, 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 where every single game is a must-win game without any wiggle room, because we've kind of spent our wiggle room. So I think we have the potential right now to spread ourselves too thin mentally, not physically, because I think physically we have the squad, but mentally I think it has the potential to take a toll. So I think we've made it a little bit more difficult than we could have. We could have been going into the run-in with a 7-point gap, and maybe after this weekend we will, because City still have the opportunity to drop points in the next couple of games, but so we can still just make that up anyway. But I'm just worried about us spreading ourselves too thin mentally in the future. Just thinking about big picture, because we can't look at each individual competition like they're separate, because if we do, I think we can win all of them. Like if I take the Carabao Cup in isolation, we're winning that. If I take the league in isolation and we weren't playing anything else, I'd say we're definitely winning that. If I take the Champions League in isolation, I'm saying, dude, we're like the favorites to go in there and actually make at least the semis or the finals in that. But it's just that when I think about it holistically and the fact that we're playing week day in, day out, every week, not having any ability to concede in any game, it becomes very, very difficult. So that's my worry
So
on these past drop points.
See, I'm not too worried about the points gap because you build up a points gap to drop these games, but I think that they're just not going to beat both Spurs and Liverpool away. So I think that points gap will come back anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. I think the League Cup might be quite a big factor in this because just beating City in a final is one, it gives our players that initiative and go, you know what, we can get over the line and we can win trophies. It gets that duck off Arteta's back a little bit by saying he has won a trophy. And two, it's such a huge psychological blow to Man City. You know, we beat them in the final, get there before them. And especially because where it is in the league, it could give us such a boost. So I think I saw a lot of people complaining that we were taking that Chelsea game seriously because it's just a Carabao Cup. I'm like, we got to fight for it.
No. I wanted to take that more serious. I take it very seriously.
Yeah,
I want to win a cup.
I mean, we're so close. I mean, for me, for that, I was looking at what Nate's written down here. It goes, so you agree with Slot? We should get knocked out of other comps to win the league.
No, I'm saying, okay, my point was not we should get, because it's addressing me, right? I'm not saying we should get knocked out of the other cups. I'm saying it's going to be difficult. When we're challenging on all fronts, it's going to be really, really hard. I want us to do it. I'm just saying it's going to be difficult. Yeah, but look, I want to win.
What I would say is, in terms of the Carabao Cup, we have a game next week. We're one game away from making the final. The final then after that is until March the 22nd. So I don't think the Carabao Cup for me, from a physical standpoint, it really impacts the league at this point. Like, I think this Leeds game coming up, as an example, Arsenal's full attention needs to be on getting the 3 points in that game. Forget about that cup. And when we're done with that game, then you worry about the Chelsea game. Right now, the advantage that Arsenal have is our squad is completely healthy now. You saw how that looked today, when we made a fully rotated 11, and yet the team still had Victor Gyökeres is in it, Kai Havertz is in it, Eberechi Eze is in it, Madueke was in it, Mascara, White, Calafiori came back today.
Yeah, Calafiori gets a yellow card. He looked a little bit shaky, even though I saw some nice things.
That moment, no one is not talking about it enough. But I'm just like, we've just scored the goal, and like
he's a little. He hasn't played in a while. I mean, I don't really blame. Like, I'm not going to get upset when a player makes a mistake. I don't crash it for some reason. I don't ever really crash it on players when they make a single mistake. I usually crash it on players if I'm seeing bad performances over a while, and he's pretty rusty. And we have the squad where Calafiori's on a yellow. He made a couple dumb mistakes in the first half. Swap him out for Nkapie. We have the squad. And Nate says, honestly, we have a big enough fit squad. It's on the management to rotate and keep the team competitive. We can't have off days because of a rotated team. Yeah, and I agree with that. And we do have the squad. Before we continue, please remember to hit that like button and please subscribe and help support the channel. Anyway, as you're saying, Anton.
Absolutely. So my next word association that I did want to kind of bring up was, and this is a big topic, and it's been on my mind. I think it's been on a lot of people's minds. By the way, I don't want to use this because last night I was telling everybody to ignore this, but Indy Kyla did come up with some sort of story. By the way, the word is Odegaard. About Odegaard being unhappy about coming off at 55 minutes against Manchester United. About he's looking potentially at moves. Bayern Munich is interested. A few other clubs I think were saying like. What do they say? Like, it was Bayern Munich was one that was for sure interested. There are a few others that were linked inside that article, but saying he's looking to look elsewhere. For me, I think it's a BS story, but I think a lot of people's reactions. I even saw Seb, in our group chat saying, "Hey, if that's the case, let's just move on."
Yeah, that's how I feel about all our players.
Get rid, but. I gotta say, having seen his form of recent and how it aligns with Arsenal's form in recent time, a few weeks, and to see the contrast of a Kai Havertz in there today and what Odegaard looked like afterwards. Everyone knows I'm not a hater or a let's sell this type of guy, sell this guy type of person. But for the first time, I really thought about it today, and I'm just like, I think Arsenal play better without Martin Odegaard. I want to ask Seb because I'm curious to hear your response
I
about
think
that.
obviously the story's probably just a load of rubbish anyway. But if we're just going to take it off face value, then the reason Erdegaard's coming off is because he wasn't good enough. So I can understand him throwing his toys out the pram if he was on a good run of form or something else. But in that game, he was rubbish. So it's up to the manager to make those decisions. It's not up to you. Just because you're the captain, it doesn't mean that you have a right to play every game. We have a very deep squad. Obviously, if it was last year and he was fully fit, he's going to be playing every minute just because we didn't really have adequate cover there. But when you have a player of the quality of Eze behind you, it should spur you on. I think obviously he has a big part to play. I think Odegaard is a fantastic player. It's just sometimes he plays within himself, and you just want him to have a bit more freedom. It looked like he had when he just came back. Obviously, he scored that goal against Brighton. He's got a very good long shot on him, and he just rarely goes with it. Whereas I find Eze isn't afraid to take on his man, isn't afraid to shoot. Eze is a lot more direct. They're very different players, and I think they can play together. Like in games where we're playing a low block, then I don't see why Erdegaard and Eze and all these guys can't play together. Because if we're retaining 70% of the ball, having him on there's fine. But what Erdegaard is good at, especially now, is when we do go 1-2 goals up, you know he can keep the ball, you know he can retain it, pass it around. So he's a very safe player when we are up. It's just obviously the parts of play before. But yeah, I love him. He's a great player. It's just we know he's got the ability to make those pinpoint passes. It's just the thing that frustrates people with Erdegaard is it's there and he just doesn't seem to want to do it all the time. And I don't think that's fully instruction because you see Arteta, obviously I'll go to games sometimes, you see Arteta on the side of the pitch and he's screaming and shouting for us players to get forward. So I don't think it's entirely game plan. I think it's a bit more game plan when we're winning because you want to retain the ball. We've done that very well. But you also notice when we are winning, he likes to take Erdegaard off for Moreno to control in the midfield. Obviously, Moreno's got a good physical ability in there. But Erdegaard is such a good player. We need to try and get him at the best. I think he just needs to build up a bit more of his confidence. But it's all about similar with Gyökeres. He just needs the freedom, the time to express himself. And when we're playing such a low block and it gets bogged down, I think his morale can drop a little bit. But I think just drop him for a little bit, play Eze. He doesn't need to play every minute. Maybe bring him on later in games against tired legs. Because you see past 60 and 70th minute, we are in far more transition phases when that late in the game. I think Erdegaard's precision of pass can be a lot more utilised there, especially when Gyökeres. It's just frustrating when you see Havertz start and he's seeing the runs from Gyökeres constantly and he's constantly playing him the ball. Whereas with
Yeah,
Erdegaard, he prefers going out wide. I think it's just because obviously for a
it's not a
long time
coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
he was building up that relationship, especially with Ben White and Erdegaard, Ben White, Saka on that right hand side where a lot of our play went through. So I think he's still in that zone of I'm going to go look for Saka to get in that right hand side. Whereas I think it's just that partnership build up that needs to be better.
I
But
think
it's just
he needs to be trying a little bit harder because when I see Havertz link up with Gyökeres, and then as soon as Gyökeres is starting to get more touches, he's just looking more confident. All of a sudden, his runs are getting better. He's holding up the ball better. It's like he has burst of energy because he's like, oh my God, I'm getting to play. Guys, hey guys, I can play now. And it's like, this guy is like, all he needs is just give him the ball a couple of times, please. Like, don't rocket it into him. Like, we don't need, Gabriel trying to fizz a ball into him across the pitch. Like just give him a little 1-2. I like give him a through ball to run into, and that is enough to kind of make him a little bit more confident as well. So you're 100% right. And for me personally, I'm sorry, Jake. We'll move it to you next, but I just passionate about this. For me, it's like Odegaard is inconsistent. Like early in the season when he just came back and he was playing so well, and he has the ability to be the best player on the pitch in terms of just ability wise, and he just won't do it. So he's so hot and cold. He will have like a month of being our best player, and then very next month, completely invisible. No injuries required. And for me personally, as a captain, I know what you're saying is true when you're saying, maybe he just needs a little bit more confidence. And to be honest with you, I'm willing to say that about guys who just got here and are trying to like get into the team, and maybe they're new to England and stuff like that. But for Odegaard, he should be like a Declan Rice in the 10, someone who's even Zubamendi now is a little bit of a rock for us, because to be honest, that performance against Manchester United was probably one of his probably only really bad performance for me this season. Usually he's been 7 and 8 pretty much the entire season. And I feel like Odegaard should be that rock in creatively as a 10, and he's just not that guy. You know what I mean? So
He is, though.
inconsistent
He
is the
has
one.
been. He has been that guy for us, though. It's there. That's my thing with Odegaard. It's there. That's why it's weird. Just like we can play differently, open, free, press high in the Champions League, but for some reason, versus low blocks, versus the likes of Leeds United, who we have coming up, we don't do those same kinds of things. And I think it is a lot from Arteta's kind of game management approach to things, but for me with Odegaard, one thing that maybe we haven't spoken on is that armband is heavy, man. The armband is very, very heavy, and there's so much smoke in the media and the ops talking about, oh, Arsenal don't have that guy. We don't have that one dude who, when we're really, really struggling, and it's fair to say this about Odegaard because he consistently gets subbed off when we need a goal. That's a problem. But I think it's in there, and I think if we just release him to play like he did, and I think one thing that might make it work, that might make it happen, even if Arteta is going to be stuck to playing the double pivot, you saw versus Kairat that we didn't do that. It was Norgard in a single 6 with Eze and Havertz in front of him. What if we switched Rice and Zubamendi and let Rice play deeper? You mentioned it earlier, Anton, that Zubi and Odegaard are kind of taking up the same spaces.
Cal said that, by the way. Too.
Cal said it. Okay, yeah. So if we switch them and Rice is a farther backwards and Zubamendi is more of a playmaking 8 kind of role, then I think there would be more of that freedom, to kind of go forward. But also, I do think that when Odegaard maybe is trying to be the guy because he is the captain, maybe like I say, that armband can weigh heavy. Because even when you pass it to Saka, sometimes when Odegaard comes off the field, even he gets accused of, oh, he's trying to do too much. Oh, he should have passed it there. Oh, he shouldn't have taken that shot. But you can see that. I think that armband really, really weighs heavy, especially with the weight of all the expectation we now have.
I don't think personally, I don't think a creative player should have the armband because, and the reason why I say that is because creators are supposed to take risks. And as a captain, if you're taking risk on losing the ball and we're getting counted in transition, it doesn't, you probably feel way worse than if your job is just to create. So I do think there is something in that.
For me, I've had so many different thoughts go over my opinion change on this over the last day or two, like as different things develop.
Oh my god!
Number one, here
he is.
Look, a lot of people are calling for Declan Rice to be captain, but I actually think that the captain in waiting is Gabriel, because I think Gabriel is the true, real, positive leader in this team. He's always the one who's encouraging. Things I've seen, and Jake, you sent me, Declan Rice saying, oh, for fuck's sake, every time, is not the behavior of my leader. That's not the way I want my captain to be talking or emoting on the pitch, regardless of if it's a bad moment. I think Gabriel remains stoic. Gabriel is always a rock that leans on. Yes, he's got the disadvantage of the fact that his first language is Portuguese, but to be honest, he's been at Arsenal long enough that I don't think that's going to be a problem. And so, but this is what I've been thinking. And I saw Ethan when he in his loan spell at Marseille, driving at the heart of that defense and being so direct. I've seen Havertz. By the way, Nate saying this one performance. Havertz has played in the 10 every time since he's been returned. everyone's been waiting for him to come up to be the answer for us at striker. But the way I see this thing moving forward into the future next season, I actually would not be surprised if we sell Odegaard and use it to fund a move for Julian Alvarez, because this is how the team would look to me. Havertz would be a 10, Eze would be a 10, and you also got Ethan in a 10. And up front, you've got Alvarez and you've got Gyökeres. And I think for me, that gives you great balance in the team without having an Odegaard. And everyone there is forward thinking. And I just think the more and more I think about it, I think we'd have a better captain in Gabriel.
It's not going to happen, though.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts?
And we don't need to talk about who should be the captain. I mean, I think it's with
what I say to you makes sense. Like,
I mean, it makes sense, but it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. He's not gonna take the captain off Odegaard.
I think that'd be horrible. I think stripping Odegaard of the captain would be horrible. It would derail the season.
It would derail the season.
It would derail the season because say what you want about Arteta. The boys play for him. The boys will run through a brick wall for him. They're together. Anytime any of them are asked about this, they're immediately like, no, we back Odegaard. We back him. He's the captain. He's our guy.
Like, and to be honest with you, like I remember there was an interview with when Jesus scored the 2 goals. And then, Rooney's like, are you gonna ask Tata to play? And Jesus is like, well, no, we just yes, obviously I want to play, but we're a team and we all get our chances and we all back each other to play. And Rooney's like, well, back in my day, I'd be going, hey, I could be telling the boss, hey, I want to play, I want to start. It's like, Rooney, shut the fuck up.
He's
like
lying.
this isn't
I'm
your
sorry.
team.
No one does that.
And by the way,
Ferguson. I'm sorry.
and by the way, you're Wayne
for a
Rooney.
sec.
By the way,
for real.
I don't think I don't think he needed to have that conversation. And B, I think if he had needed to, I think they were all petrified of knocking on Sir Alex's door.
And not only that, it's like that's why I can't take a lot of the legends seriously. It's because what your thoughts and what you went through is just not what regular ballers go through, bro. Like you're Wayne Rooney. Like Nate the Gunner. Oh yeah, big up to Tone. He said big up to us and big up to Dark Tales in the Night. I think this is your first time chatting here. You said Seb needs freedom.
Love the name Dark Tales in the Night.
Dark Tales in the Night. Tone doesn't like Odegaard and Saka. Should be Gabriel and Rice. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd prefer that, but obviously, David, big ups to you again for joining the stream, and you're wrong.
Like Bruno Fernandes.
Yep. Nate
to be fair, I bigged up Bruno yesterday, but I don't think he's a great captain.
Yeah, he's definitely the leader in moaning.
I mean,
yeah,
I've seen.
I think his body language is a big thing.
Captain for Manchester United. Like I've seen, as much as I think he's a fucking idiot. Roy Keane, like. You guys have had way better captains in the past. So
this guy's profile
picture. Thumbnail. That thumbnail's awesome.
Petition to decaptain Odegaard and sack the fraudulent manager. You're still not happy. Maybe you'll be happy if we win something this season. Havertz has good weighted passes. He does, and he has a good first touch on him. David, good man. Oh yeah, you're just talking to David, and Odegaard wouldn't run through a big brick wall respectfully. Yeah, I think I don't know, man. My
it was more a comment about them being like behind Arteta and they back what he's doing.
And David's making fun of you, Anton, because you've been kind of blurry this entire
stream. I know. Yeah, I've been trying to fix it, but in the background, I tried to take myself off.
Anton agrees with me. He says Bruno isn't a great captain.
By the
Ellie,
way, big up to my brother. This is my brother Ellie, who's been on.
Oh,
yes, show.
Yes. Christian Nogard is a true professional. Absolutely loved how he spoke before the match about Odegaard's captaincy and dressing room backs him. Great performance from Nogard and a good man. Nogard, I think you mispronounced the word Busquets. Anyway, moving on.
By the way, you know who's also a good man? My brother Ellie Baroda. Just pick you up.
Big up to Ellie. He was on the pod a couple weeks back.
Yeah. Here you go. Anton's internet has bottled the stream. Dorgu and Cunha has tampered with Anton's. I don't know. My internet, I pay so much for this internet. It's never let me down before.
Starlink,
I don't know what's going on.
You need the Starlink.
I don't. I don't want to get political, but I don't align
The
myself
the
with
missus
Elon
the
Musk.
missus is downloading something, bro.
Hey, whatever you think of Elon, the internet's great. I've got Starlink. It's great stuff. Whatever you think of the guy,
I
it's
like
great.
Tesla
It's
as
great
a
internet.
car. Every time I'm in a Tesla, like I've been there a few times with an Uber, I'm fascinated by everything in there and how
He
cool
he
it is.
might
You
be
can
a
inside.
robot. He might be an android sent from the future, but he does good work.
Yeah. Moving on from this conversation though, because I do want to I want to go back to a previous message here, and I want to bring up this topic because, and I kind of alluded to it, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts on it. And Havertz returned back. My main man to Cairo goes. Havertz returned with a bang goal and an assist. And again, the appearance he made against Bournemouth, he also was very direct from the 10 position. The through ball led to the corner. I mentioned it before, but I want to hear everybody else's thoughts on this. Everyone has been saying that that he is going. Everyone's waiting. Hey, Gyökeres has been shit. Gyökeres has been shit. I actually want to link. I'm going to go into Gyökeres conversation afterwards as well. So that's going to be up on deck. But I want to start with this. Do we actually believe now, having seen Havertz come back, and by the way, he's been sharp every time he's played,
Yeah.
that he actually is going to be playing for Arsenal? Is he here to replace Gyökeres, or is he here to replace Odegaard? I want to start with Jake. What are your thoughts? I know Cal wants, but
Neither.
you did.
He's not replacing either of them, in my opinion. For me, Gyökeres was brought in to win the Champions League. You know, he was meant to be the guy because he's got the experience in the Champions League, mad goals in the Champions League. You know, I think Tone might be onto something there. You know, if they can find a combination, maybe we'll see him in the left 8 again, which I don't want to see. Or maybe, you know, who knows? We might do some kind of hybrid in behind, you know, have Kai play in behind him. But I just think that the way Arteta loves our press. He, in my opinion, thinks that our best attribute as a team is our press. And Martin Odegaard is the leader of that press. So, in my opinion, I don't see a world where Havertz replaces Odegaard for that reason, because that is in the forefront of Arteta's mind as far as how we approach pretty much every game. And Gyökeres is the main guy. He was brought in to be the main guy. I think Havertz is going to be auxiliary and, you know, when we need him, game specific. But I don't think he's going to replace Odegaard or Gyökeres in our best 11.
Have you forgotten how much I got that loves Havertz? Havertz is like
I
his
know.
son.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I think. That's why
He loves Havertz more.
He loves Odegaard more. He loves Odegaard more.
No. This is what I've been thinking in my thoughts as well, right? Which is why I think it could be a thing. Is that
like
the
when
only
Havertz
player
scores, Arteta goes
in
nuts.
Arsenal's team that could challenge Odegaard for favoritism is Havertz. That's why
I would love it. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. Mix it up. Let's score goals. Whatever works. I'm not like this name right here is far more important than any name on any name. And I love my players. I love Saka. I love Odegaard. But if you tell me we're going to win the league and we sell all of them tomorrow, give me the league. Give me the league.
Yeah, I want to hear Seb's thoughts on it, because Jake was saying that, you know, we start Odegaard because Odegaard is able to lead the press. Seb, you got a good deep knowledge of Kai Havertz. Do you think that's something that we would lack if we'd started Havertz in the 10?
I think the thing is, Havertz and Odegaard are completely different players. I think you could just adapt depending on what the game is, to be honest with you. But obviously, there's qualities that you lose when Havertz is playing. I'd like to see both of them play in the same team. You can do that. We've got a lot of competitions. I think especially in the game against Chelsea, I think Kai Havertz, when he plays against Chelsea, seems to turn up as well. So I'd like to see Kai play against Chelsea. That would be fantastic. But yeah, I don't think we can take too many, even though I was suggesting this before, but I don't think you can take too many conclusions off of one half of a game. I think Odegaard is a fantastic player, but Arteta does love Kai Havertz just as much as he likes Odegaard. Like, that's for sure. I think you can play Odegaard up the 10, but I think everyone's been going on about the Gyökeres signing particularly, but we're through in every competition. Gyökeres scored in the first leg of our semi-final. So for me, so far it's working with him in there. It's just we need to work out the partnerships and see who works well with each other. I think just having Kai Havertz in there just offers a different level of quality. It's the same. We're so blessed right now that at 10 we have 3 players that you can play there consistently who have such different skill sets. Eze's a lot more direct, loves taking shots from distance, has great up link up play with on the left-hand side, especially he's played more balls into Gyökeres than anyone else. So Eze does love linking up with Gyökeres. Then you've obviously got Ødegaard, who's more of a tempo setter when he's at his best. Obviously, you could drop him into the 8, which may be better. I think if you're going to play Havertz, maybe play him alongside Ødegaard in the 8. And then obviously you've got Havertz is more of like a false 9 kind of play, more on a Firmino build where he can drop in, find space, make space for other players. So I think what is good about this is it should be very hard for the opposition to predict how we're going to play, because if we don't have a consistent lineup of everyone in there, it can be adapted for different games. I think we have tried to adapt for different games in the past, obviously against Bournemouth. They're a very high-pressing team, so we played very much a team in transition with that lineup with Madueke and Martinelli out wide. So I think it's just we can just analyse what opposition we're playing against. Like against Leeds, Leeds are a very rigid side, but they are very dangerous on the counter. So you can't. It's not Leeds isn't one of those games where I want to see so many attacking players in midfield just because of how physical they are. So we do need some rigidity in that midfield against Leeds. But maybe in those games where you're at home against the Burnleys, against the Wolves, we can go more attacking and bring in Havertz and Ødegaard. But I think Havertz can fill in at the 9, especially when we're playing against a low block and Gyökeres isn't getting space. So if you're finding 50, 60 minutes in, Gyökeres is not finding any space at all, you could bring Kai Havertz in, drop a bit deeper, play the wing, get the wingers in, play more. But I think it's great to have those options, and then we can just adapt to whoever we're playing, which is what the best teams can do. So I think we're in such a strong position where we have such a dearth of talent, and I haven't seen Arsenal in this position for pretty much my whole life. So yeah, I think optimism wise, we've got a lot to look forward to with our squad fully back fit. So it looks great. And that's without Wanyeri here. Imagine when he comes back, we've got another player in there. So
I was just saying, I think you hopped off, but I was saying I could see with all the Ødegaard rumors that I'm thinking about over the last few days, you could bring Ethan back from his loan spell at the end of the season, sell Ødegaard, use that money, would find a move for Julian Alvarez, and you would have Havertz maybe as a 10, and you got Alvarez and Gyökeres as your options up front. You got Eze in there, you got Ethan in there, and we would move probably Gabriel as captain. And I feel like we would move on. It would be perfectly fine.
We have a good enough squad where we're not really reliant on one player. Not even Saka is, I would say, 100% necessary like he was for the last couple of seasons anymore, because we've kind of built a machine here. But on just Ødegaard,
question about Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz. Yeah. I think Kai Havertz, the problem with Kai, first of all, I think Kai Havertz is probably going to be playing in the 10 more than the 9, because based on how often he's playing Jesus and Gyökeres as the 9 options, I think it's pretty obvious for the rest of the season that those are bar injury, those are the 2 guys that are going to be playing as number 9s up front.
Those are the 2 guys that are actually number 9s as well. Like Marino and Havertz are not.
Marino and Havertz aren't playing number 9 as much. I don't think Havertz even played number 9 once this season. I think he's always been playing the 10. So I do think the future is going to be Kai Havertz as a 10. And after seeing the link-up play, I don't think, unless we never see that again, which I think is extremely improbable, that, they look that good and then all of a sudden Kai Havertz just decides that he's not going to find Gyökeres anymore. I don't see that coming. I don't see Kai Havertz as a 9 moving forward. And the problem with that is that if you're playing Kai Havertz in the 10 and we continue to see Kai Havertz, let's say he gets back to full fitness and he's killing it as a 10, you wouldn't play him as an 8 because Declan Rice is better as a left side 8 than him. And you wouldn't play him as a 6 because Zubimendi is the best 6 in the team. So Ødegaard would be replaced, and he would be, instead of Kai Havertz being the auxiliary guy, Ødegaard's now the auxiliary guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only
So
interesting part about this moving forward is if we are to sell him, is that if we go on and do what we think we're going to do, he could be the first captain in the history of Arsenal to win a Champions League, for instance. You're going to sell him that very summer. He could be the first captain since Patrick Vieira to lift the Premier League. Are we going to sell him that very summer? It would be
I
a
mean
very,
that
very interesting
it's just
turn of
it's,
events
for
if that
me.
were to happen. You know what I mean?
It's just
I'd
titles,
be
bro. It
shocked.
depends on it just depends on what how you contribute. And to be honest, if we win the league because Kai Havertz is the main guy and Odegaard's eating bench for most of the rest of the season, it really doesn't matter what we win. He will want to leave for his own career. If you're eating bench in Champions League games, knockout games, and you're eating bench in Premier League games, and we go and win it all, like you're gonna feel like shit, and you're probably not gonna like these players. We had players before that were happy to sit on the bench and like just waste away. I don't think we have guys like that anymore. I think our guys actually want to play. So I can't see us not using Odegaard often and still keep him. I just don't see that happening. It's either one or two things are gonna happen. It's either we win with him being a main piece, or I think that's the only way he stays, to be honest. I think that's it.
I think the thing is with Erdegaard, I think it is important for us to try and get him back to his best, because that season when we finished 2 points behind City, he was integral to the way we were playing football. He was integral to the press. Erdegaard at his best is Arsenal at our best. So I think we need to strive to get him up to speed. And I think just resting him for a few games he did have such a big injury. So I think just having a bit of rest and rotation. And the thing is, he doesn't have all the pressure on his shoulders anymore. And then you got the caveat is, since he's been here, we haven't really played with a target man, so it's adapting to playing that way. I think with Saka, I've seen a lot where we were so reliant on Saka on that right hand side to cut inside and score goals. He's kind of still in that mindset of I need to get a goal for my team, because the amount of times Gyökeres is making runs through the middle, you see Saka going out wide. Saka's trying to cut in. He takes a shot from an angle he should be shooting from. So I think it's just, even when you look at the past, look how long Drogba took to bed into that Chelsea team, how long Thierry Henry took when we signed him. So it takes some time for players. I think people forget these days that Gyökeres hasn't even been here a year.
I mean, Gyökeres has already scored more goals than Drogba in his first season.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It takes time for players to build these relationships. I think it will be fine. We're in such an advantageous position. We'll be fine. But getting Erdegaard back to his best is only a benefit for us. So I think just trying to get him there.
The thing is, I slightly disagree, Seb, on the rest Odegaard, because he's been getting a lot of rest. He didn't play in the last two Champions League. Like, he didn't start the last two Champions League games, so he's playing like one game a week essentially, and then he's getting subbed off at halftime for the games he is playing. So he's playing less, like he's playing 55 minutes of football a week. So like, how much rest do you like?
No, but I think my problem with that is it's just every Premier League game, Erdegaard is on the team sheet every single time. And when you've got Eze, who was playing so well before when Erdegaard was out, I think just maybe playing Erdegaard as some more cup competitions where he can build back up his form, like in those games.
Okay.
Like,
so you think he'll build up form in the cups?
Yeah, because
in the league.
When you look at the games where we've been stagnant is league games. So maybe just dropping him for a league game, getting somebody else in there might help him. I don't know, but I think it's just some players are better when you play them through their bad form, and then some players just need a rest, get out of the spotlight for a bit and come back. I don't. Obviously, we're just talking here. No one actually knows what will happen whenever. But I think just maybe playing Eze in there as well, because Eze's such a good player, and he was playing so well before. And it's not like we dropped off when Erdegaard was injured. So we do have the options in there. I just think we need to use those options a bit more and just have a bit more squad rotation, especially in the league, because he's very stubborn in the league with that midfield. So maybe just playing different options in the league mix it up.
My brother's gotten very passionate in the comments section here. I could tell by his tone. He goes, Havertz is the best 9 at the club. It's so funny, two brothers. One is big Gyökeres, should be the best 9, and one is big Havertz is the best 9. But that's the way it is in almost every family. But his chemistry with Odegaard off the field and in the press will make Arteta pick Havertz. The talk about selling Odegaard is reactive and nuts. We are top of the league. Yeah, I'm in trouble.
If Arteta's making
My brother's
decisions
be
based
like,
on
you
off the
pushed the
field
sell
relationships,
Odegaard
I'm
thing in your
gonna be
show.
really annoyed. Like honestly, I'm judging Odegaard based on his last performances, and it hasn't been good. I've made videos on my channel saying Odegaard is back. If he continues like this, we are 100% winning the league. And so I judge players based on what I'm seeing them, how they're performing. And for a month, Odegaard was literally back to his old self, and he literally looked like the best midfielder in the Prem. It was insane what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right now, he's not it right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we need to force it if we have so much quality at the club. And also Havertz as a 9. Why would I play Havertz as a 9 when I could play Gyökeres as a 9 and play Havertz as a 10 and have them play off each other? You know, I would want to see this. I want to see that more often. Like, I want to see how that works. I want to see that against Leeds. And if it works against Leeds, I want to see it again and again and again until you prove to me that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know?
So this is a good transition to our next topic. And for me, as a big advocate for Victor Gyökeres, one of the main reasons why I'm pushing this Kai Havertz combination is because the impact, the amount of times that Gyökeres is getting on the ball now, how much there's all of a sudden, by the way, it started spreading across the team because I saw Eze, starting to thread balls into Victor, and I'm seeing, Martinelli starting to thread balls into Victor, Madueke starting to, like, everyone's looking for him with intent and with purpose and getting to him quickly. It's like as if Havertz sets the example, set the tone, and all of a sudden there are opportunities coming from left, right, and center. Yeah, we can make compilations of certain misses in a game, but when you're getting the amount of chances that he got today, you're going to have misses. You're going to have some in point blank. I'm happy we're at least having those moments now, rather than not touching the ball at all. But I do want to talk about Victor Gyökeres today because I'm still seeing a heavy hatred for the guy, even though people are saying, Victor, you're supposed to be scoring the goals. Why aren't you scoring the goals? Well, as far as I remember now, in recent times, starting from Chelsea, so we're going Chelsea game. Who do you play after Chelsea? Chelsea, Forest, Inter, Man United. Okay, 5. 3 out of 5 goals now has scored by Victor Gyökeres. That form is starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to score weekly now.
We can't be saying at one side of our mouth, hey, I don't give a shit what he looks like on the ball as long as he's scoring. And now that he is scoring, now we're going to be complaining about what he looks like on the ball. I just think that we're talking out of two sides of our mouth here. And Cal said it. He's got a better, we're not even anywhere down the season. He's got a better first season than Didier Drogba did in his first year. Here he is.
This guy, see you in the finals.
I know he's gonna have to get himself through. Yeah,
you're gonna have to do a lot, man. You're gonna have to do a lot.
You know what? Do you know what, Cal? For what the impact that would make on Man City mentally, I'm all for
Dude,
it.
I would love, to be honest, I would love that. I would love them to just get obliterated.
Hey, it's not out of the realm of possibility to see them in champs either.
But they have to go through unfortunately, they're the team that's having to go through the extra round. I want it to be Man City.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Damn Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, you goddamn losers, bro. They are so crap this season.
I lost my head when Benfica goalkeeper scored, bro. It was great.
Dude, I've been watching a couple of their games in the league, in the Spanish league, and when they play, they look like a championship team. Like, there's no patterns of play, just heavy touches. It's just ugly, ugly football.
Yeah.
Well, clearly they didn't want passages of play because that's what they had with at least Xavi Alonso in there. He had a system, so clearly
they didn't
want a system.
Yeah,
clearly.
the players don't want it. It's Player FC over there. The players literally got the president to sack the manager. It's Player FC, and that's why Xabi Alonso left, because Xabi Alonso is like,
because they chose Vinny over Xabi.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, for me, I mean, yeah, no way, but. We should have went through to the 8, to be honest, since PSG got another dodgy penalty.
Nah, it was definitely a pin. I watched that whole game. That was definitely a pin.
Don't get Ash started.
There you
please,
go,
Jake.
Ash. You got yourself an ally here. Yeah, Ash was fuming in our group chat throughout the game. Like
Nuts.
he generally is like complaining about refs on a regular basis, but this one was like next level. He was from right off the bat. So I'm like, and he's like, have you watched our game? Have you seen what's going on? Oh my god, you're gonna have to see it after you're done. I promise you, Ash, I am going to.
Yeah, I'll watch it after this.
I'll
Newcastle
definitely
were worth that
watch
draw,
it.
though. Newcastle played very well. They were worth that draw. 100%
Yeah.
worth that
They
draw.
really-
But
They probably should have won it near the end of the
They
game. Do you know
could've.
how many chances they had at the end of the game?
They
I
could have
think
won it in the end,
Newcastle
yeah.
were value for that win. To be honest, going back to the League Cup, I hate playing Newcastle. To be honest, I
I do.
hate it. So I would rather play Man City in the final. To be honest, just because
I would actually.
Newcastle, I fucking hate them. I hate playing against them.
Well,
They're
wouldn't
like-
that mean you would want to beat them in the
But
final?
they're so frustrating to play against.
Nah,
Newcastle.
Newcastle is going to turn that into.
I think if it's
into
yes, I
rest
think if
fight.
it's a
It'll be a
one,
dog
if
The
it's
biggest
one
game of all time. Yeah.
If it's one, yes, to be honest, it'll be a tough final, regardless of that.
Yeah.
Neither, both of them are gonna
It'll be
offer their
tough.
own issues. But back to the original topic at
Great
point.
city if we see them in the final.
I
by the way.
wanted to use
I'd say
the
that with trust.
word Victor or Gyökeres as the word association. And I want a bit of an update on how everybody feels about him right now on the 29th of Jan, because we were having conversations, me and Cal, I reckon 2 weeks ago before Chelsea. And Cal, I want to start with you. You almost gave up on him and you said, no, he's not it. He's dog shit. He can't even slow. He's done. How are you feeling now about him on the 29th of January? Update. Doesn't have to be full swings. Just how are you feeling about him?
Update. I was giving up on him because, first of all, heavy touches, not fast enough, and stuff like that. And it was very frustrating watching him. And I think it was also frustrating watching the team. And honestly, looking back on it, I think he was kind of like one of the outlets for my frustration. Have I given up on him? No, because I can clearly see he has a clean strike on him when given the opportunity. I do think that he's obviously a confidence player, like in-game confidence. So I feel like he revs up in games the more you kind of let him have the ball. I think we saw that. We've seen it multiple times when you give him the ball and he feels like he's part of the team. He feels like he's part of the game. And all of a sudden he starts it's almost like he starts running faster. He starts holding up the ball better. He starts linking up play better. And I think we just have to play him into the game. I don't think he's like Haaland, who can literally just stand there with a cigarette in the penalty box all game and just score off nothing like an absolute madman. Like Haaland's like a freak.
The visualization of that. Is
Yeah,
funny.
that picture in my head of him chilling with his hair down, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, like because Haaland's like an absolute
This little
freak.
cheeky smile he's always got.
Yeah. And most footballers just aren't like that. So like Gyökeres, we just need to play him more, and he will get into the game. So I do think I've regretted some of the terrible things I've said, but I've said that most of them off stream. To be honest with you, because this is still like for this channel, we still try to protect the players. And I do think we still have a responsibility to protect the team. I don't think we should be slagging off the players at every turn. So because they get slagged off by everyone else. If we don't protect them, who will?
Yeah. See,
if we don't stand up for them, who will? So I don't say everything all the time.
I don't want to scapegoat certain fans on our, because that's why I'm not going to share the videos. But I was just seeing the game just finished, and I'm seeing like Instagram reels or whatever shorts, whatever we call them, right? What Seb does with like TikToks. Yeah. With like, look at that chance that Victor Gyökeres missed. Look at this. I'm so done. I'm done with him. I'm like, he scored today. And but if it wasn't for the fact for a clearance off the line, he probably scores a second. Martinelli steals another one. He
stole his goal. He literally steals his goal. It was literally rolling in. No one around.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I would have stolen it too. That was me. I was that kind of guy when I played.
But the thing is then like, so you have a guy who scored a potential hat trick today, and we're fixating on times that he's missed an open. He missed a sitter.
I didn't know he had that.
Trying to mock it. Why our own? It drives me nuts. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Why do our own fans do that to our own players? If rivals do it, I get it. They fucking feed off that stuff. I generally ignore it. But when it's our own fucking fans who do this stuff, it drives me up the fucking wall. Like,
Yeah, so
Rant
it's
over.
yeah. And that's why we kind of have this channel. We're not gonna be doing that here. But just on back to Gyökeres, I do think I am my faith is becoming a little bit more restored. He is looking a lot better. He is looking a lot better when people are trying to find him, and he's kind of making his own luck as well. And I do love his never say die attitude. He never slumps his shoulders. He never stops running, and he will always fight and battle. And I think he's a fighter, so even when he wasn't scoring the goals, I couldn't say that he wasn't trying. So yeah, and to be honest, he now has 10 goals and 2 assists in all comps. Dude, like if he ends the season on, he's probably going to end the season with more than 15 goals in all comps, and I think that's a pretty decent start for him, to be honest. So yeah, so he's been looking good.
I think Cal, you hit on something. You hit on something that's very interesting, and it made me think of what was the game where Gyökeres tried to lob the keeper like 30 seconds in, and he messed it up horrendously, and he was bad, and we were not great in that game for the rest of the game. But then conversely, and yes, again, it's Kairat, so we're not gonna get. We're not going to go over the moon, over the top with all this.
Inter and Chelsea in there as well, which I
think... but exactly my point. After he scored versus Chelsea, which for me, I think is the turning point of Gyökeres' season, where he went through a long drought, and then yes, it was scrappy, yes, it was over the line, toe poke off the whatever, but that goal immediately, the very next play, you were talking about it, Anton, how he immediately is like in it. He could feel it. You could see the confidence go up. And in the Kairat game, in that first half, dude, he was everywhere because he scored 3 minutes into the game. And so he's got the confidence to be everywhere. Yes, he missed the sitter or whatever, but he was there. And before, people have been
pass as well for Martinelli.
People have been on him about him not even being there. But in the Kairat game, not once, but twice, he was on the end of it. And he was there. Maybe he didn't get the touch for the first one, and then Martinelli steals his goal on the second one. But I think it's very obvious to see that Victor Gyökeres right now is enjoying himself. He's got confidence. Yeah. He's attempting things. He's trying things. He even tried another lob on the goalkeeper in this game, in this last game, and so he's not necessarily taking his misses as, oh no, I'm terrible, and he's trying again and again and continuing to do the things. And I think, like you said, he's playing himself into form.
Yeah. And Ash says, I knew Gyökeres would become better, but I still don't think he's the right striker for what you need. And to be honest,
that's a fair take. I mean,
that's a fair take. It's balanced. But I think he can become what we need, essentially, because if he continues playing well and we win the league, I mean, wouldn't that mean he became what we needed? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it really depends how you want to look at it. I personally would think Julian Alvarez is probably the best fit for us right now. But to be honest with you, if he improves his link-up play a little bit more, and he just continues doing what he's doing, and we try to find him, he could end up scoring a lot more goals. If he goes through a little bit of a purple patch in the end of the season, he could do some great things. So, and that's what we kind of pray for as Arsenal fans.
Well, I think one thing about Gyökeres that he's maybe having to adapt to is because of so much of the low blocks and less space. He's got to find the fox in the box goals, in addition to the I'm running into space and I'm going to smash this one into the back of the net. He's got to find the other types of goals as well.
Yep. And your bro says, are we not slacking off our own players when fans are asking for Odegaard to get sold at skipper top of the league? Let's not forget how much space Kyra gave us. They are shit. No space, no Gyökeres. Well, to be honest with you, Ellie, not to be that guy, but if Kyra was so shit, why was Odegaard walk off the pitch looking like the worst guy in the team? Like, that's the thing, right? We can't say Kyra is shit. That's why Havertz and Gyökeres look so good. But when Gyökeres comes off, but when like Odegaard comes off, we don't score, we don't create, and we concede a goal. Like we could do it. We can't have it both ways. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But
I
on the
think
first part of my
he's
brother's
been off.
statement
And no
about
one's
Cal,
asking for
though.
Odegaard to get sold this season. Like no
Mm.
one's. And to be honest with you, Saka, if an article came out that said, "Oh, Saka is not happy that Madueke is getting so much minutes, he wants to leave," I'd be like, "Okay, leave. This is Arsenal. Like I don't care. You know, Saka's my favorite player in football." But I love Arsenal more than I love any player at the club. So if any player comes out and says that they want to leave the football club, I'm sorry, I'm backing the badge. I support the badge. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, and again, Ellie, to clarify, because you know me more than anybody. Like, I'm not the type who likes to slag off players or have this selling conversation. I started that by saying it. It's just a talking point. There's been, reports in the media from about a potential that he wants to leave the football club. Not that Arsenal are trying to sell him. So that is kind of where this is coming from. I think, from my point of view, really, because I'm just trying to challenge people's opinions and kind of have a bit of more of a discussion about things. My best case scenario is that Odegaard's playing at his peak. Odegaard at his peak is one of the most beautiful and entertaining players to watch. Like Odegaard at his best levels, I'm not picking any number 10 at Arsenal over best Odegaard. Seb was saying it earlier. Like when Odegaard's at his best, Arsenal's at their best.
Yeah, the best version of Odegaard is the best 10 in the team.
I'm just talking about a scenario in which has been brought up to me by Indy Kyla about. And again, I don't necessarily believe the report, but we're just discussing it just for discussion's sake, that he himself is potentially unhappy and potentially looking for a move elsewhere. So I do agree. I can't on one side of my mouth, be defending Gyökeres and then go in on Odegaard. And that's not necessarily what I want to be cultivating either. So, if that's what you're trying to say, then, that's fair enough to point me out on that.
Look, the better we get and the more we do, the more we get closer to win trophies and then actually getting it over the line and winning trophies, our best players are going to be linked. There's going to be smoke. We're going to be linked to others. I mean, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best believe Saliba's going to get more links away over the summer and stuff like that.
It's not like we never have been linked to players at Real Madrid or players at Barcelona in the past. Players, Man City, we've taken players off of Man City. When you're a good team and you've got great players, people want them. We have them well. I think the only one who's not really locked in for a long period of time is Odegaard, even though I still think he's got like 3 years left to run on his deal. But in terms of all the other guys who've committed to like beyond 2030, he's one of the only people left who were like
Gabriel. We need Magalhaes to sign a contract.
No, we did.
He did.
Come on.
Yeah.
I missed that somehow. That's
so
good.
Rice is on the horizon. They've even talked about Rice trying to get it. There's talks about Timber.
Odegaard has 2 years left.
So there haven't really been the discussions about Odegaard, talking about in terms of our core players of Odegaard's being extension. I think that's where kind of these reports are going to start to creep up. It's just natural when the player's contract runs down. It happened to us at Arsenal so many times. Another number 10 who I had to live through the nightmare of being linked with every single year and hoping the window closed without him being sold to Cesc Fabregas, who played in a similar position. And eventually one day he went to take his dream and he went to play for Barcelona. And it is what it is. Like,
hey, big up Cesc Fabregas, man, with Como. 6th place, quarterfinals of Coppa Italia, man. We might see them in Champions League next season, bro. I don't know if you've caught any of Como's games, but Fabregas has them playing, bro.
Yeah. You know what?
Fabregas played for Chelsea.
Yeah, but what? For some reason, that didn't bother me. For some reason, that didn't bother me because he offered, like, Arsenal offered the chance to take him, and we just didn't. And he was like, "Well, I got to move somewhere," and he got sold to.
I love Fabregas. I don't hold that against him. I love.
No, I don't know why. Like Van Persie, I hate. Nasri, absolutely hate.
Yeah, those two.
Nasri was a rat. Ashley Cole is on my hit list as well. But Nasri, for me, the way Nasri left us was really annoying because Nasri had seen, Cesc leave and the opportunity for him to become the guy kind of opened up, and we were struggling. We just lost 8-2 to Man United, and it was almost like he just jumped ship and he saw.
Why you got to bring up old shit?
No, but like that's the one that really hates. I really have a deep hatred for. but Cesc never really bothered me. I
Van
don't know
Van Persie's the worst by far.
I threw my jersey away. I had a Van Persie jersey, like
Especially because of
this Van Persie jersey, and I threw it away.
considering his injury record and who he went to. Yeah, and what they did. Nah, it's like the worst combination of everything.
Jake, you got
Hey,
a
Juju.
question on here.
Hey, man, we love the game. For the love of the game, that's why we're here.
And by the way, I actually live in Australia, Jake. So that's why I directed it at Jake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Love of the
actually not too
game.
bad in Australia.
Just going back to the Gyökeres stuff, right? Don't you think we're missing an element of a certain guy called Ben White who looks far more threatening down that right hand side? I love Timber, right? Timber's a fantastic defender. He's got great technical ability, but the ability of Ben White on that right hand side, it's not a coincidence that our most attacking season, scoring the most goals, was a combination of Erdegaard, Ben White, and Saka down that right hand side. When you see Ben White back in the squad, those partnerships show back up again, and even the goals Gyökeres is scoring, Ben White's playing. So I think Ben White's such more of a threat down the right hand side. Maybe he's a bit more defensively weakened, but I think Ben White is a good weapon that we got. He is always trying to find Gyökeres. He's always putting the early cross in. So I think even in this, I think Ben White's going to play a big role in now. And I love Ben White. I think I prefer Ben White overall to Timber personally. I think Timber's a fantastic player, but I think Ben White, is a good secret weapon we've got in there as well.
He started with the armband versus Kairat.
I want to hear about it.
Vinny Blanco had the armband.
It's so hard. It's so hard because like we haven't had Ben White for so long, and then he comes on and we're like, ooh, I forgot that you could do this, you know. And but Timber is so resolute defensively. It's such a hard. It's a really good problem to have. But
well, if Timber would stop stealing goals from people.
Yeah, I think Timber's problem is like, dude, can you stay out? Like,
he had one stolen from him the other day by own goal. So
yeah, but we don't need Timber to score goals.
Yeah, Timber's like he's in front of our striker trying to tap stuff in and jumping over defenders to get goals. It's like, dude, just stop,
chill.
Just stay at the edge of the box. Just stay there, please.
I'm happy that there are fans here that are noticing that stuff going on because
it's actually quite funny.
Because as part of Gyökeres defense league before, that probably shouldn't have been his first goal at Chelsea. There was a chance for him to get a winner against Chelsea, and Timber stepped in the way. So
and that was part of the frustration watching the team play, because I was like watching us play, and I'm like, hey, because our fullbacks are crashing in the box and shooting, and our wingers are running back on defense. So I'm like, hey, can we stop doing this, please? Like, can you guys just hang back a little bit and not do that? But by the way, Waneri looked good today. I mean, not Waneri, MLS looks good again. Like, he's been looking good in his substitutions for the last month. I think
he's gonna get punished though. If what's gone before is anything to go by, MLS let the Ricardinho in that he was at fault for that second Kairat goal. So MLS might be in trouble with Arteta after letting, because we know what happens when you let somebody go on the back post.
There are two players that recently,
as they disappeared for like a month
goals,
after that.
I'm always seeing it connected to one of these two guys, MLS or Marino. They're always somewhere in and around. When it's the big shots from outside the box, it's Marino. When it's stuff like that, it's MLS. And yeah, I've got my.
I think MLS is just going to get transitioned at some point to start playing in midfield. I think that was the plan anyway, because he's a midfielder. He's only playing at left back last year because we just didn't have anyone else there.
Yeah.
And you can see that from the way he plays football. It's just, I think last year
he's a long-term Rice replacement.
Yeah, he started so well last year and was playing so well that this year he's playing at a very normal level for his age, and now all of a sudden it's like, he's dropped off a bit, but it's just like he started off so hot, but in possession and ball he's really good. It's just sometimes he gets caught out, and that's normal because he's not naturally supposed to be there anyway.
I think as well, by the way, there were times last year where MLS wasn't like. Again, he got sent off a couple times last year as well. There are a few times he made mistakes last year, but
But then
It
there's
was
the Man
when
City
we
game.
it's when we saw the consistency in the performances of Ricardo Calafiori from left back from this season is when you started to know the difference, that like there are levels that we can go to. There's a
Yeah.
certain the what's to say, the standard of left back increased, and he's just fallen a little bit below that standard for me.
Yeah.
And that's
If
kind of what's
Calafiori wasn't injured, it wasn't injury prone, he would probably be up there for, you know, player of the season for Arsenal, because like in his pump this season, he's gone up like 2 notches from last season. I didn't see this coming at all. And his ability to find space and his on the ball ability to not only that, but his defense also got better as well for some reason. Like he just completely transformed. So yeah, that's a lot of the reason why. And like MLS is a young guy. I was just watching him the other day doing an interview for the Champions League, and when I took a look at him when I was hearing him talk, I was just like, this guy's a kid. This is a little boy, man. He still has like acne on the face. He's still shy in front of the camera. It's like, this guy is a kid. Like, I don't feel comfortable calling him shit or slagging him up, because it's literally like a child.
He's like
you know? So
19.
yeah. So for me, it's like, now
He's
we
younger than
can
that. I think he's 18.
like we could. Yeah, he's 18. We could go easy on that. Juju says, and probably the right name for you. He says, I don't know about the rivals. As a Chelsea fan, I'm perfectly okay with Arsenal winning the league, but absolutely against them winning the Champions League. I give an extra offering every Sunday. Yeah, you could keep that Juju to yourself, Juju.
You know what?
Are you a part of the Chad national team? Weren't they the ones doing voodoo or something during the AFCON?
Oh, jeez.
The Congo, excuse me, it was the Congo. They were doing.
Chad.
It was the Congo. They were doing voodoo in the locker room.
That's way too much. That's way too much.
Sometimes I think people are doing voodoo on our players, or the way we attack sometimes. But I want to just move this on to our final word association of the day, because we are ticking 137 on the stream, and that is of course none other than Arteta, because the manager has come under a lot of scrutiny over that 3-game non-winning streak in the Premier League about various different things. You know, him playing scared, him not taking the moment, the tactics, the substitute. I criticized the substitutions that happened way too quickly, and it seemed like I want to go to Seb last, because Seb's going to calm everyone down and he's going to give us common sense. So I'm going to get Jake first, and then Cal, and then Seb, and you guys all kind of just go in that order. How are you feeling about the manager? And
it's interesting. The word I want to use, the word I will use, is courage, and that's what I want to see. I did a video on Monday where I was talking about how we can bridge the gap in mentality, and I mentioned how I think Arteta needs to bring in all the pressure, all the noise, all the fan expectation. He needs to take it all on himself. And it was something that was interesting. I did my panel show last night, and my buddy Nez, who's a City fan, was talking about if Arteta, he says he's kind of a gimmick manager, right? The light bulbs, the pickpockets, the Anfield, that Never Walk Alone song, and all this stuff. So what if he, and this was from a City fan, what if Arteta said, hey guys, and he did this publicly, if we don't win the league, first of all, you got to say it like this. We are going to win the league. 100%. I believe we're going to win the league. And if we don't, I walk. And he thinks if Arteta said that publicly, it would galvanize the team. And I think if Arteta showed courage like that and took all of our expectation, the fans' pressure and expectation, took it all in on himself and said, look, guys, it's all on me. You go play with freedom. It's all on me. I think that we would go on and do something magnificent here. And I think that it comes back to, if Arteta can just have the courage himself, embody that courage, I think we'll go on to do something great.
yeah, I think the only reason why he doesn't do that is just from an optics point of view. That if we go ahead and win the league, he's going to kind of like gives you a window into the fact that something's not all right, or there's the pressure is mounting on him and all that stuff. If he goes ahead and wins it, right, and he doesn't say a thing, and let's say Pep drops out, he leaves, at the end of the season. All of a sudden, he's going to be probably, I would say, given the resume we were to win, probably the best manager undisputedly in the Premier League in terms of resume. And then you don't have to say anything and everything is kind of like stable. I get the idea about it, but I just kind of think from a PR point of view, I don't think the club would let him. I reckon.
I hear that.
You
But
know
at the
what I
end of the day, the pressure is there. And if you're gonna win trophies, if you're gonna win, be the big whatever, the big team on the block and win all these trophies, you're gonna have to deal with it at some point, somehow, some way.
The other thing is I think it puts the Cronkies in a very awkward position. So they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh wait, he
Spin the
said
Cronkies,
this."
man.
No, but they're
They
on
are-
they're on the club.
yeah.
They in this scenario, he's their boss. I mean, they're his boss. So like he can't bin the Cronkies.
Yeah. Juju says, "Bring your boots to the Emirates." Yes. Arteta is very quotable. But my word would be attack. I think this is what you need to do. Attack, 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 attack. I feel like all our worst mistakes and all our losses and all our draws and all the crap moments has happened and crushing moments has happened this season when we are on the back foot. Like when I think about Aston Villa conceding in the last minutes, when I think about Sunderland conceding in the last minutes, and I think
Wolves.
about Manchester United, the Zubamendi mistake, when I'm thinking about all these things that happen throughout the season, when we're on the back foot, bad things happen. Bad things happen when we're on the back foot. There's this misconception in that October run, when we, weren't conceding any chances in games that we would, defend, that we were just not having. We were having the most possession in the game. We were dominating the game, by far. We were never on the back foot. The reason why they never got anything against us is because we were never on the back foot. They would get 1 or 2 chances in transition, and our bad boy defenders would just stop them before they get the shot off. And then we'd continue to just press and attack the shit out of them. That's what we did in that October run. So I don't think everyone was saying that Arsenal's a defensive team. That was always a lie. That's a misconception. When we become defensive is when we concede. So my word for the manager is just to attack, and that's where the freedom comes out, and that's where the players are able to express themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way,
so
a great point that you made, and we actually touched on this yesterday. Seb dropped out just for a second. Okay, this time we've had negative Dan, but this time I'm sure in my heart of hearts, this is positive Dan.
It's either positive Dan or is it negative Dan being sarcastic? It could be one of the two. Big
This
up, boys.
feels like sarcasm. This one feels like
This is
sarcasm.
Negative Dan is lying. He's like, I got him. I fucking beat Dan. I fucking got him.
It's
No.
positive.
There it is.
The quads
See,
always
I know my boys. I told you, everybody, I
competition.
know my boys. By the way, if you're in here, this show we're doing, I want to have you on here, my brother. You've been here before on this very show, on the debut, all the way back in November. But yeah, you are one of my best mates in this business, and I want to see you back here. So we'll try to hook that up in the future, bro. And by the way, make sure you're subscribing and heading over to our brother channel, the Goodest Therapy. So yeah, where me and Cal have been on there many times as well. So make sure you're hitting and subbing them up and giving them love.
And
yeah,
also
one thing I was gonna,
giving
one
us
thing I
love as
wanna-
well, liking and subscribing.
Yeah. One thing I wanted here he is. Looking forward to coming on. Yeah, my man.
Hey,
my
big
man,
ups
man.
to you, dude.
By the way, I'm loving what you're seeing you on. Seeing your career go and seeing you in Negative Dan on the AFTV watch along today was pretty cool, pretty surreal for me. To see, like, I don't really know any of the other AFTV guys, but I knew you when you were just at the start of this journey. And to see you in the AFTV studio, for me, I feel like I'm living that through my own eyes. It's pretty damn cool. Back to what I was going to say, though, and again, Seb hopped out, and I wanted Seb to hear this, because there are a lot of people who are saying, Odegaard is essential for the press and this and that. But me and Cal discussed this yesterday. Here he is, not perfect timing. During our run, where we had the clean sheets. Odegaard was not starting for Arsenal in that period. It was Eze. And as much as scrutiny as Eze has gotten, one of the reasons people are saying he's not playing in there is because he's bad off the ball. But I have a question in that thought is, then why, when Eze was starting in the 10, did we have equally our best historic run of keeping clean sheets? And I want to ask Seb that question, which is why he's back.
Hold on, just repeat the question.
So everyone's been discussing about, how Odegaard is essential because of the press. But when we were looking back at that run, we had I think it was 8 or 9 straight clean sheets. The player who was starting in that position in that run was Eze. I'm just thinking about people saying like, Eze is not good off the ball. He's the liability over there. We've got those issues with his form and stuff. But we were in our best run ever defensively, almost in the history of the club, with him starting in the 10. Do you like any thoughts behind that?
I don't think it's a coincidence that Zubamendi came in and suddenly our defense was a lot better. I think obviously comparing him to Thomas Partey, they're very different players, but our ball retention's been a lot better this year in midfield. I think it's just a coincidence, especially when Eze was playing, we were going 1-2 goals up more often in games. So it was kind of a period where, if you've noticed in the last few games, we've been very intense in the first 20 minutes, dropped off a little bit, and we haven't been able to kill teams off. Whereas early in the season, when Eze was there, we were killing teams off a bit earlier. So then when you are 1-2 goals up, you can start playing a bit more passive. Because we're trying to keep the lead. So I think that's just an element of play there. I think the criticism towards Arteta the last few game weeks has been a bit much. I think the biggest game I got frustration from was the Man United game. I think the Forest game in particular, I think the outrage from that was a bit too much. I saw a lot of criticism for the starting lineup. I can see some criticism for that. But that game, we created nearly 3 XG in that game. We should have killed that game off. We should have won that game. Martinelli misses an absolute sitter at the back post. You cannot blame Arteta for that. You blame Martinelli entirely. We had a far more than enough chance of that game. The worrying one was obviously against Liverpool, but you can caveat that with it was Liverpool. But it's just in certain games where we've been really intense for 25 minutes and then dropped off. You obviously can't be that intense for the whole game. It's just important that we need to start when we are on top for those periods of times. We score and kill it off. I think what I've noticed massively since that period in the season where Eze in that period was we were scoring a lot of goals 40 to 50th minute. So when we came out for the second half, we came out hot, we'd score and it would kind of kill the game off at the start of that half. Even in games where we conceded, like in Bournemouth games, the Brighton where we conceded, it was just like the game was already pretty much done after that. And even when we did concede, we retained possession. We didn't really concede any chances. So it's that period after the second half that I've noticed where we've got worse as the season's gone on. I'm just going to put that down to, I think, just having 4 away games in a row. Even the fatigue across the league, if you've seen, the goals are down December, January. The goals have gone down massively. There's been multiple game weeks where we've had multiple 0-0s. Defensive numbers are up. So I think there's fatigue across the league. I think it will just start picking up again when we haven't got any more Champions League games for a bit. Obviously, the League Cup will be over soon as well. So I think once it gets down to less games, we'll be fine again. But it's just that period after the second half, I think we need to pick up the intensity a bit more. I noticed against Man United where it was just Man United were more up for it in our second half. So I think it's just that period of 40 to 60 minutes in that second half we need to pick up again. Because it's not a coincidence that we were really intense and we were scoring most of our goals in that period before. I think we just need to pick up there. But yeah, I think it's not black and white. There's nothing that's like, oh, that's definitely what's happened. But that's just kind of my inkling to it, really.
Yeah. Let's get back to the Arteta conversation though, because that was obviously our final thing. Jake has kind of had his big say on it. Cal and Cal guy also had his big say about attack. Seb, what are your thoughts now on the manager recently? And he's come under a lot of pressure because of the fact that we've been winless in 3 in the Premier League, and some of the way he approached the second half against Liverpool, the way the Nottingham Forest game, we kind of felt like we were running out of ideas in the second half, especially as well, and of course the Man United game, and how again he made those substitutions, the 4 substitutions, which just still seemed a little bit out of desperation. Another question I want to throw at you before you go is one thing I've noticed is that he's given up on our starting attackers and attacking midfielder, and he switched them all up. In this one, it was Saka switch positions, but he's been switching attack completely. do you kind of feel like it's a little bit like what are your thoughts overall on Arteta? I would say I'm just gonna bring up a few examples of things that people are criticizing him of.
I think obviously there's some warranted just because we've looked a bit stale in certain games. Once again, I think it's just down a lot of it's fatigue, but I personally want to see that rotation from Arteta because if we got players in there and they're not performing, then you want them swapped out. So I don't really have a particular issue with that. It's just I think it's more on the players because Arteta is basically playing extremely similar lineups he's been doing all season, and it's worked in multiple games before. And when we're on an amazing run, so I can't see it much on Arteta. I put it more on the players really, especially in that Manchester United game. We're more than good enough to be beating Manchester United. That lineup he put out, more than good enough. It was the players for me that didn't step up in that game. So there's enough criticism. I think when there's a lack of adaptation in games, maybe you can put it on him. But even in a Man United game, he went quickly. I think he did too many subs at one go. So that's the only real criticism there. Against Nottingham Forest, we created more than enough chances to win that game. Once again, I don't put that on Arteta. The lineup for me was fine. You want some rotation, and it's the team. I know it's Forest, but they were 17th in the league at the time, so you're going to want some rotation in games. We have to. So, and we created more than enough. The Liverpool game was more frustrating just because we were so passive in that game. It was kind of like it looked like in that second half we were just happy to draw because Liverpool came out in that second half and looked more threatening. They were keeping the ball. We were losing progression. It was like one of the first games in the league where I saw the opposition getting more on the ball than
The
we
duels, because they were
were.
winning the duels as well.
Yeah, it was
which is
just like
something
we
I'm not
didn't
used to
really
seeing.
pick up the intensity. So like the 80th minute, it was very odd. But those games, I think we just need to be more clinical. But once again, I'm not going to put it all on Arteta. I think it's a lot on the players. If he's putting out the same lineup where he's winning games, then you've got to put that on some of the players. Obviously, if there's no adaptation, you can put it on Arteta. And some of the substitutions he's made, especially when instead of bringing on like an Eze, for example, he's bringing on Marino when we need a goal, like against Forest. He's taken off our creative hub and bringing on Marino. I thought that was extremely odd. So there is slight decisions I think is weird, but he's got us to a position where we're 4 points clear, top of the Champions League. So Arteta, I think, is doing an absolutely fantastic job at the moment. Like he's got us in such an advantageous position. I just think he needs to use some of his weapons more. Obviously, Eze's not been playing a lot of minutes. So I think a bit more rotation in the midfield, but I think it's fine. It's just a bit of a patch. As the thing that will start worrying me is if we play Leeds suddenly and that form continues into the Leeds game where we look stale. That will worry me. But at the moment, I'm not too bad. And a lot of it I don't really put on Arteta particularly, but so if the players
And by the
perform
way,
against United, we win that game. So.
by the way, Tone, you said Liverpool is getting it together. Maybe in the champs, not in the league, my friend. They've drawn four and lost their last.
Us because they're
they've
coming
literally
around
their
to
last
play Man
five
City in 2 weeks' time. So
their last
Slot's
five
trying
is
to get fired.
draw, and then a loss.
By winning 6-0 against Karabakh.
No, his comments. Every comment he makes is spicier than the next.
Who, Tones?
No,
On his slot.
On his slot. Oh yeah, he's finished. He's probably going to get replaced, which is unfortunate.
There's been a lot of heat on the Liverpool fans to try to get rid of him, but they did have the big victory in this one.
I think if he makes a deep Champions League run, I think he stays.
I think that's what it is right now. I think
if he gets to the semifinals, he stays.
We had a really crappy year last year in the league, but we had a really good Champions League campaign that got us all the way to the semifinals of the Champions League. So that
I don't want to play. They're the team I want to play the least, by the way.
100%.
I'd rather play Bayern. I'd rather play Madrid. Well, obviously, you'd rather play Madrid. I'd rather play Barca. Like everyone, they are the last. City. I'd take anyone over them. Anyone.
Yeah, the other one I just can't avoid just because the last season is PSG. But again, I think they're not the same because
we haven't scored a goal against Liverpool this season.
Anfield in the Champions League.
Other thing,
Anfield in the Champions League, bro.
Mm-mm.
No, but
at least
the point that Cal just made is the one that
yeah.
the only team that's kept us from scoring the whole year.
We've guaranteed that we play the home game at the Emirates, but I mean that didn't really help last time. So yeah,
it would be a different tie, but still very tough.
Yeah.
Look,
I would literally rather play anyone else.
For me on Arteta, like I think I've heard I've been therapist for some times, and then I've been on the therapist couch myself this last weekend in terms of some of these conversations. but I do I agree overall with what Seb is saying, just by the way. I agree with the main premise, and I want Arteta to win. I want him to win big. I want him to win in multiple competitions. I want him to make history as this manager because I think he deserves it with what he's built. Like for me, it would be so gutting if we had to let him go without him wanting anything. Like, just from an emotional point of view, it would have felt like, like, where is the climax to the story? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I think it's a good story if he wins. But
Yeah.
like,
So
I just, and to be honest with you, I want him to win because I want to win this season, dude.
yeah, again, yeah, but on the flip side though, given the position we're in, given the squad we've got, I don't have the energy to go. We go again next. I just don't know if I could say it. I just don't know if I could think. Even me, positive Anton, who is literally banging the drum all the time. If the worst were to happen, and I don't even want to put that out into the universe, I would. I don't even want to say it, but you know what it is. Anyway, let's avoid that scenario altogether completely.
Yeah, you don't need to.
But
talk about
yeah,
that.
I do question a bit of the fact that we've gone 3 games in a row, and he has to ignite a fire in them after the first one, after Liverpool. I'm thinking, let's go get 4. So we have a chance to go 9. That's the other thing. The chances to go 8 points clear, 9 points clear, and then to retain at the 7 points clear. Those are all big, massive opportunities. And why we're not kind of him getting us revved up in the certain moments, why that second half isn't got the same punch as it had in other games concerns me. But I do agree. Overall, he's had us in an amazing position. He has us as a well-oiled machine. It's just, this is a moment in the season, and I liked to hear what he said in his press conference letting into this game. But the thing is when we take the lead, that pitch at Ellen Road, I need to see a different Arsenal. I need to see an Arsenal that instills confidence in us in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's being solid at the back, because right now we're not even getting that at the moment in terms of in our recent performances. Like, if we win the old way, like we were in the season, set piece again, ole ole, and it's a clean sheet. I'm actually feeling good about that, because I'm like, we've gone back to basics and we're looking solid again. We've got that base back. That's what always gave me the bass in my voice, came from the fact that our floor was so fucking high and that we weren't conceding goals. That when I had Gabriel and Saliba together at the back, I didn't fear any team scoring on us at all, and it hasn't been the case in recent. I mean, I guess we got 2 clean sheets in this 3 game run as well, but maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much about the Man United game. But I need to see something. I do need to see. I like the fact that where we look today and attacking wise, he tried something different. Maybe he used that Kairat game as a chance of doing it, but yeah, and again, just attacking through the middle is something I want to see us employ a lot, which is why I like.
I think that's the main thing. That's the main thing. I don't think we can win the league without Gyökeres being on form, because like we need some players on form. Like they all can't be having like mediocre seasons.
Like Cal's been screaming this to the rooftops, but I'm sorry, I don't want to hear this weekend that Leeds away is hard. Other teams have gone to Leeds away, they struggled. That's not where we are right now. We have to win. We have to win at all costs in that game. I'm not hearing that. We've heard it over the last few games, and I said it, when Man City had dropped 4 in a row, and I've said no champion has ever dropped 4 in a row. I have to keep the same energy for our club. I'm not gonna all of a sudden, I said this yesterday, like, be a hypocrite and talk out of both sides of my mouth. If they do it, I'm going to say, I don't see them being a threat. And then when we do it, we're going to win the league. It doesn't really correlate. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. But we are 15 seconds away from hitting the 2-hour mark on the show. Guys, final thoughts kind of on where we're at right now in this moment in the season.
I reckon we do score predictions.
And score predictions for the Leeds game, and kind of give me how you think about the Leeds game, how you would set up, and your score prediction, I would say. I'll start with Seb.
I think we should probably set up a bit more sturdy midfield just because Leeds are a very physical side. I think Rice needs to play in that game. I'd probably drop Erdegaard, play Eze, play Trossard as well because their low block's going to be a big thing to break down. So Martinelli out on the left hand side is probably just going to be a waste of time. He's just not going to get enough space in there. Obviously, Calafiori back in as well is a big thing. I'd be starting Ben White as well down the right hand side. But I think it's going to be a tough game. But if we take our chance, I'm going to go 2-0. We just need to take our chance because we're not going to get a boatload of chances. So when they do come, we're going to have to do them. But set pieces is an area we can exploit, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0. We'll probably open a goal from a set piece.
Amazing, Jake. Sorry, Seb already spoke.
I think Seb's right in that this is going to be a tough battle in the midfield. I think we definitely have to focus on winning second balls. So it will be Rice and Zubamendi, 100%. I doubt very seriously we're going to see Eze in the 10. As much as I think that would be refreshing, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Odegaard, Rice, and Zubamendi in there just for the fact that I actually watched the Everton Leeds game, and they battle in the midfield. They battle really, really hard in the midfield, and they play quick in transition with Jared Bogle and James Justin as their wing backs. And so because of that, we might see Martinelli just for the fact that the space in behind Jared Bogle, who likes to get forward, was there all day long for the likes of Dewsbury Hall and I forget who Everton had playing left wing. But if we play quick in transition, we can hurt them when they do come out. But I think, like I said, the biggest thing in this game is because we like to press, I think we need to press high and win second balls and play quick in transition. I think we got to score early. Leeds dropped off when they had a lead versus Everton. So if Leeds have any joy at all in this game, they'll get deeper and deeper and deeper, and there'll be less and less space. So I think we need to hit them early. But I think if we do, yeah, I like 2-0.
Yeah, I like that as well. One thing I just wanted to point out, guy we have to look out for is, of course, USA international Aronson.
Brendan Aronson was fantastic versus Everton. Fantastic.
Yeah. He was fantastic against Newcastle in the game I saw there as well. Anyway, Cal, you're gonna.
Yep. I think it's probably going to be a 2-1. I think we concede again. We haven't been keeping clean sheets recently. I do think we're going to concede again. I do have a feeling that we might try something new. If I were to believe Arteta when he said that he's going to be trying new things. Well, he didn't say he's going to try new things, but he says he's going to play with freedom, which is a statement of intent. So I expect him to at least try it once in the league. Maybe we never see it again if it doesn't work, but I at least expect it against Leeds. I expect to see something, whether that be players or style of play. I do think Leeds do like to play football, but the problem is I think with the way our recent results have gone in the league, every team that we've kind of dropped points against sit deep. So that seems to be the blueprint, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, I expect us to score, maybe concede because we get lackadaisical and then score again. That's probably what I expect for the game. But I'm still predicting a win because, like, oh my god, I cannot predict anything but a win against Leeds. Like, I just can't do it.
Look, I think I alluded to how I feel about this is just I just don't know why, but in the league at the moment, I'm not feeling confident, and I just feel like sometimes we just need to go good old 1-0 just to start the run, to kind of start from the basics. And that's just how I feel about this game. I feel very humbled right now. Like,
I mean, we scored when we scored against United. When we scored against United, I felt like, well, yeah, we're definitely winning this game.
Yeah,
and we
same.
didn't. It's like the first time that we lost from a winning position all season.
Yeah, I see Gabriel header sometime in the first half, and then us closing shop for the rest of the game. I think it's a really good thing, by the way, that we were able to rotate our 11 players so that they're going to be fresh. Our best 11 will be fresh and ready to go for this game. I actually wouldn't make 11 changes back, to be honest. I think it's time for me. I'm dropping Trossard right now. I want to
I
try
want to see
something
Eze.
different.
I want to see
want to
Eze
see
on the
Eze.
left.
Yeah, I want to see Eze. Now,
Please,
didn't have the-
please.
yeah, I want to see Eze out on the left. I want to see actually. It's not going to happen, but I want to see Havertz in the 10. My brother is watching; he's going to be furious. He'll have all the smoke coming out of his ears, but I just want to try it. You know what I mean? Like, I just want Arteta to tinker and try something inventive, something creative that just changes it. I don't think that the team, their performances in the Premier League merits everyone keeping their place. Like,
Yeah.
I need, like, you know, a Calafiori needs to come back at left back rather than center back. I know, can't believe those words came out of my mouth, but given how my analysis was at the start of the year about Calafiori. But yeah, I need him starting there. We are fully fit. I need to go as strong as possible. The death squad that I refer to, minus Odegaard and with Havertz, is what I want for this game. And but that being said, that team should be winning by more than 1-0. But that's just kind of how I'm feeling right now. Just one is an intent with the lineup, and the other one is like just a score line with my feelings. And that's kind of it.
I also want to see Ben White start as well. I just want us to go in. I just want us to go all out attack. I just want to see Eze on the left. I just want to see. I don't even mind if you play Zubomendi and Rice, because Rice does join the attack. Like, even if you have to play because of you want a little bit more control, you play Rice, Zubomendi, but play Havertz in the 10. Play because we also forget that Havertz, Saka, and Ben White also have very good link-up play in there. Because it used to be the four of them. It used to be Odegaard. It used to be Odegaard. It used to be Odegaard, Ben White, Saka, and Havertz. But four of them would be on that right pocket, and they'd be linking up.
That was
play.
the combination. Again, I would have to see a better Odegaard. I wouldn't be against it. I would understand the concept behind it, but for me, I want to see us be direct and stop with the sideways passing and just come out to what we did against Kairat. And I know Leeds is a much better team than Kairat, to be fair, even though I want to see bang what happened, how we started this game. All of a sudden, they're picking the ball out of the back of the net because Gyökeres has rocketed something from outside the box thanks to directness from Kai Havertz. And then if I have a direct left winger like Eze in there, it's sending an intent. You got Saka out on the right. Now, he's not the most direct player, but he can be. You know what I mean? So I just kind of want to see. I just want to see something like that to show like, hey, we're going to be on the front foot.
Yep, and that's what that's what the gaffer said. He said free flowing football, and he said enjoy. They're going to enjoy the rest of the season because they deserve it. So, unless they enjoy passing back, we'll see. We'll see what the game looks like.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Anyway, this has been a 2-hour stream, so we are going to head out. I want to thank Jake and Seb for coming on here. We are planning to have these boys on here a lot more regularly. Me and Cal have been saying like we want more Gooners on this channel. Jake and Seb for us are going to be the core like expansion behind me and Cal of regulars that we're going to have here, because to be honest, they were here when we were small. They've always.
I mean, we still are small, but
ish. When we were smaller.
They've been here when we were like when no one was even on, when it was 0 viewers watching. So
yeah. So by the way, to Curtis, you are right. I am on the East Coast of Australia, not of the United States. So in Melbourne. So you got that good guess, but you're from Texas. So, and Curtis is always in here all the time as well. So big up to Curtis.
Hey, shout out
always,
Texas.
Tone goes big up to the panel.
Good panel. Big up to you guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So we are going to be back again with more shows. Cal has actually, thank you, lined it up for me, so we can actually start to promote it now. We are going to be having what time is it, Cal? You say because you're
7 p.m. UK Saturday. It'll be
so
after the Leeds game.
we've got two debutants on coming to the Arsenal Alliance. Ash, from if you guys see him on Mo on Pretty Judge Mo, he's been on the terrace a lot, and Saad, who's on with Hassam and with on the terrace as well a lot. So
All the El Alpha shows and those
on the
guys
El
there.
Ahwa shows, yeah. So exciting to get some some fresh blood, like Gooners who are also well known, and kind of giving them their turn to be on here a little bit. And that's kind of like the intention of what we're trying to do, is just bring as many Gooners as we want to hear. We want to hear the voice of the fans, and just kind of connect us as well. So it's gonna be exciting, and as well, again, it will always be exciting to have Jake and Seb here as always. So guys, make sure you like button. And by the way, before we go, make sure you're subscribing as well to the Cup Chasers, to my boy Jake. I've been sitting there in his live streams. He's live streams all the time. He's doing watch-alongs for everybody, not just Arsenal, everybody. And of course, my main man, Seb. Make sure you go subscribe to Seb's shirts. He's got the reels going on every game. He did his match reaction this morning as well. I watched that. So yeah, go check out Seb. Give him some love as always. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully after a win against Leeds. Please
Hopefully.
God.